Hello everyone, I'm Cloud and welcome to Anime No Mi. Today we're going to talk about Shanks the Red, one of the most powerful pirates of the entire generation, the one who was on the most legendary crew in history, and who today made his new crew similarly renowned, and most importantly, he was the one who motivated the future king of pirates begins his journey, seeing something in Luffy that no one else has seen. Everything indicates that Shanks knows secrets about the world that no one else seems to know, and it all involves Monkey D. Luffy, and a battle alongside him in the future, and we'll cover that and more in today's video. So I already count a lot on your support to let me like it. Your like is super important and super helps the channel that is still new. I also count on you a lot to subscribe if you are new here and join our crew. Now let's go straight to the video. Guys, as we know, Shanks is one of the most important people in the history of One Piece. He is the one who motivated the Straw Hat to become the Straw Hat, both telling his adventures as a pirate, as well as giving him the hat that was there, inherited from his captain, as well as betting his arm on Luffy, the one he and Ace believed would be the greatest pirate of this generation. And as we know, Shanks has everything to do something gigantic this year. After all, Oda at the Jump Party had already said that this year would be special, the year of chapter 1000 in volume 100 of the manga. Besides, the author even said that one person stirred a little, the red-haired man. And between Shanks and Kid, the one who hides his moves we know is Yonko, but what does that really mean? After all, mentioned in the databook, Shanks 6 years ago received the title of Emperor of the Seas, but long before that he was already acting in a mysterious way. As we know, Shanks greatly admired his former captain, Gold Roger, who took him as his apprentice across the seas. We also know that the former king of pirates had something he could not accomplish, even though he was the pirate who marked the history of the world, but how Roger had said Newgate, this wish would be inherited by another D. The strongest man in the world had seen it in Luffy, and apparently Shanks knows this wish and also saw it in the boy, a long time ago. From there we saw how Shanks was always waiting for great feats from Luffy. He showed a lot of consideration for him, and mainly, he seems to have plans for the Straw Hat Boy. After all, he makes it visible to everyone. Shanks is always watching Luffy's progress, both in terms of power, how strong he is becoming, and also mainly in the renown he has been acquiring, always following his rewards, and how he has become a great pirate. And as we know, there is a promise between the two, that Luffy, when becoming a great pirate, would return the Straw Hat to Shanks, but only the redhead will really decide the moment for that. After all, as we know, Shanks went to Marineford where Luffy was, but he asked Buggy to deliver the hat to the boy who was unconscious. After all, that was not the moment for the reunion. Luffy had already knocked down pillars of that world, defeated Shichibukais, went through Impel Down, and was now in the battle that would be nominated for the participation of the best, but for Shanks, that was not the time yet, and this moment is already close according to the redhead. After all, after the biggest One Piece newspaper in the world started looking directly at little Luffy and calling him the fifth emperor thanks to his deeds, and especially after the battle against Katakuri and opposing Big Mom, Shanks said that soon the time would come. And now, as we know, Luffy is facing many times, the pirate who leads the beast crew, Kaido, who like Shanks and Big Mom is also a Yonko, besides being considered the strongest being in the whole world. And possibly Shanks' actions have already started, and I believe it's not necessarily to face Kaido. After all, we must remember that Kaido and Shanks had met before Shanks arrived in Marineford, and now Luffy is already fighting to save Wano. Possibly the moves of Shanks is for something to come. We know that Shanks for sure is one of the most powerful not only of the generation, but is already at the level of being one of the strongest of all time, being one of the best users of both Bosashoku and Hashiko Haki, being extremely skilled in the use of King's Haki. We even saw how Kaido had said that very few even among the users of the legendary Haki were actually able to reach an advanced level of use, which seems to indicate that Shanks does. But what can make Shanks join Luffy in battle? What moment is the redhead waiting to fight alongside the Straw Hat when he finds it? And yes, there are some battles that could change the whole world, something even Sekai Sifu can't ignore. After all, we saw that Shanks, a pirate, in fact one of the greatest pirates, being a Yonko, was in a way silent to the capital of the Sekai Sifu where the Gorosei were, the elders of the Tenryubito, who make all the decisions in the world, and there, no one knows opposed to him. In addition to Shanks extremely seriously said he needed to talk about a pirate, and many have come to believe that it was about Monkey D. Luffy, but this can go further. Shanks must have probably gone to talk about a pirate who may have plans that become a problem for everyone, being something of interest to Sekai Sifu. After all, as we know, there were in the past powers that became enemies of all the forces of the past, great pirates like Roger, the Sekai Sifu, and the Navy, and even so, I had the power to oppose them all. In this case, I'm talking about Rox D. Zebek, that after causing great destruction, became shy by the Sekai Sifu who hid his actions so that he wouldn't gain more renown, and made Garp team up with Gold Roger to finally stop him. But at the moment, the one who is acting in an extremely mysterious way as well as Shanks himself, and who has been accumulating more and more power, even managing in a unique way to possess the power of two devil fruit no Mi. I'm talking about Marshall D. Teach, who has a gigantic power and has been acting in unpredictable ways, being the only one who has really been following him for a long time, being Shanks. Shanks, and this we can see with everything that's happening in the manga. That's because we see Shanks has a big scar in his eyes, and that scar was caused by the claws Blackbeard used in the past. It was he who faced the future Yonko and seriously injured him, a scar that marked Shanks beyond his skin. That's because even after he lost his arm, Shanks said that what really bothered him were the marks left by Teach, and this was something he said to Whitebeard himself, who didn't even know that mark had been left by his former crew member. This may show us that Teach caused that to Shanks even before he joined Newgate. After all, he also said that the pirate had now long been waiting for the opportunity to initiate his plans by staying hidden by the name of his captain. Shanks tried to stop Ace from going after Teach because he knew he would probably lose everything in a battle facing him. He knew Blackbeard would seek Yonko's position and overtake him. We see he has a big plan, and only Shanks is looking at him, possibly because of his meeting in the past. And we know what Teach is doing is gigantic. He waited for years until he got his Kage Kage no Mi, which he was sure was the most powerful Akuma no Mi, just as he planned from the beginning after getting it for him. Akuma no Mi from Newgate, which is considered the most powerful paramecia. Shanks seemed to know that Teach's plan could not be stopped, but he never revealed if he knew what this plan was or was already predicting everything. But yes, he would be the great enemy to be faced by Luffy by his side, even because Shanks always said he was waiting for the moment to meet Luffy again, as well as saying that the time had not yet come to face Teach, who in Marineford also backed down and didn't face the redhead. So possibly if a union between Luffy and the pirate who inspired him happens, it must be to stop the goals of Marshal D. Teach, a pirate who has waited for the right moment to truly reveal himself to the world, while already forwarding all his plans. And just as Shanks was a pirate from the past and therefore knows a lot about the world, Teach also seems to know. After all, not only does his knowledge of Akuma no Mi, he also sails on a ship that was called the Saber of Xebec, which you can reference the great pirate I had promised to talk a little more about in this video. Rox was extremely powerful in the past, being a rival to Roger, more powerful than Newgate himself. Not only that, but he also had the most powerful crew, being Kaido, Big Mom, and Edward Newgate himself. And as we know, according to Sengoku Rox, he had lost his life in the great battle against Garp and Roger, but that battle became a great mystery to the world, after all, as I mentioned, for fear that Xebec's renown surpassed that of the Navy itself. Hid everything about him. With this, many believe that he will still resurface at some point, or that Teach has some connection with him, a great pirate of the past and a great pirate of the present. After all, Teach was the fastest pirate to start his crew and already become a Yonko proclaimed by Sekai Sifu. But comment below what you believe is Shanks' real intention for Luffy, a future battle against an opponent that will change the world, or something different. Comment there. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed our video, and I also ask you to subscribe to help us. I'm still learning English, so forgive us for any mistakes. Thanks for watching, and if you liked, subscribe.